We meet for prime class about once every couple of weeks, and also there's a lot of material in there. So if you want to go in there every day, you can. Also, like today, I'm going to release what I call the Moneymaker grid, where there are certain stocks. A lot of people don't know this, but there are stocks that you can own where you can create income from owning the stocks. So if you're a person who's been saving and investing consistently, you can do a strategy that's relatively low risk that allows you to have consistent income, just like you would from a job. The difference is that you don't have to work for the money. So right now, my wife and I are selling a condo that we own, and we're going to take the money, and we're literally going to take that same money, buy some shares in a couple companies, maybe like Meta, et cetera. And the amount of income we will make from selling the options will double the amount of money we were making from owning the condo. And the best part though is that, we don't like being landlords. It's not fun. It's not, I don't like evicting people. I don't like getting a phone call and having to spend half the day trying to go get a plumber if something breaks down, or figuring out what the property manager's been doing wrong, or the HOA, and just all this other stuff that you have to keep up with. And then also, one thing about real estate that you have to be really thoughtful about, I'm not saying real estate's bad. I'm just saying that you have to remember, a lot of people forget this. And I read a whole Wall Street Journal article about this where they were kind of breaking this down. And I like the fact that they're talking about this is when you make an investment, you have to think about the liquidity of the investment. A lot of people don't think about the fact that many investments are very easy to get into, but some of them are hard to get out of. So you have to plan your exit strategy. You can't just think about it like a bad relationship, where you're like excited because you get to, maybe you want to get some on the first date, or maybe you because somebody charmed you off your feet. And then you realize though that you might be going into a relationship with a Diddy type person where getting in is easy, but getting out is very, very hard. A lot of a lot of investments are like that, where people pour their money into stuff, and then when you need your money, you can't access it. You put your life savings into your cousin's bakery, and then you go back and you say, "Hey, cuz, I need some money. I need my money." And your cousin's like, "Well, the bakery's not profitable yet, or we're only making $500 a week." Well, where are you going to get your 20,000, $30,000 back? It's hard to do. So the public markets are great in the sense that there is liquidity there. Real estate's liquidity is so-so, but it's not very good. It takes a long time to sell a property. We're selling our property right now. We got to call the agent that's going to help us sell it. We got to do the showings. We got to, make sure that we're not violating the rights of the tenant and all these other things. Whereas if that money's in the stock market, I could sell it in 30 seconds and just be out and going about my life. I like convenience. And one of the things that I enjoy drilling into that I don't think is discussed enough when you talk about money is I love helping us to consciously understand all the things that are more important than money and how that relates to money, right? As I mentioned to you all the time, that money is only valuable to the extent that it gives you access to things that money can't buy. Money cannot buy your peace of mind. Money cannot buy more time for you. Money it can. And there's certain circumstances it can, but most circumstances it can. It can't make you young again. It can't make you healthy again. And so really I encourage you as you invest to really connect to your feelings. And if your feelings are, this is good money, but I just don't want to do it because it sucks. Find a better way to make the money. All money ain't good money, because some money requires you to deplete your morals. And then also sometimes money requires you to deplete all the things that really matter to you. Do you know how many wealthy people I know who make millions of dollars a year, who are miserable because their families fell apart, their health is bad, their mental health is just in the toilet? And I think about that. I know I brought up Diddy before, kind of as a joke, but this is a true story. I knew a young lady one time who went to not Spelman or Clark or one of the HBCUs, and she went there, and she said, I didn't really study my first 2 years in college. And I said, well, why not? She said, because I knew that I was going to be in the music industry, and I would go and meet Diddy or Jay-Z, and they would sign me and give me a job, and then I would drop out of school. And I was like, was that your plan? Like, how much hip hop music did you have to listen to for you to think that plan was going to work? And she did meet Jay-Z. She met Jay-Z in a club, and she handed Jay-Z her resume in the club, and he just looked at it really weirdly and handed it to somebody else, and she never heard from anybody. And then I think about that and I say, gosh, well, what would have happened if you had gotten your dream? Like, what would have happened if Diddy really had hired you? It wouldn't have ended well for you. Maybe you'd have some story. Maybe you'd be filing lawsuits now over what happened to you. And that's actually what happened to her. She got into the industry a little bit just by working with some of the big radio stations like in the South. And she saw what they were doing to women in that industry. She saw that. She saw this way back in the early 2000s, and she said, "I don't want to be around this." So what I would say to you is that all money isn't good money, and the idea of chasing money at any cost typically does not end well for anybody. So when you're stepping into money, just kind of think of it the same way you would anything else. Just does this fit in terms of what I want for peace of mind? So let me see. Somebody mentioned the movie Hustle and Flow, which was a great movie, by the way. But that's another example of like this, these weird false dreams. Like if you don't know Hustle and Flow, it was a great movie with Terrence Howard. He was the star. He didn't make very much money from that movie, and but it helped his career a lot. So I think it was a good win for him. But anyway, he was in Hustle and Flow, and also I think Taraji might have been in it. Maybe it wasn't Taraji. I think it was Taraji. And they just, I mean, brilliant movie. And he was this pimp that wanted to go legit and become a rapper, and so he became a rapper. And they were making this really great music, whoop that trick, get a whoop that trick, and then he has this big night where he meets this famous rapper named Skinny Black. Skinny Black was played by Ludacris. So he's excited to meet Skinny Black. He uses his pimp skills to kind of become friendly with Skinny Black. Skinny Black promises him he's going to help him out and get him to the next level, which never happens, by the way. So, people think if they meet, if I'm a rapper and I meet Megan the Stallion or somebody else, they're going to make me famous or whatever. And it doesn't happen like that. If you understand business, you'll know that the artists, they don't have the ability or even the time to make you successful and famous. They're trying to keep themselves successful and famous. But anyway, so he ends up beating up Skinny Black, right? Because Skinny Black basically broke his heart because he took his little demo tape and threw it in the toilet or something. So after he beats up Skinny Black, he's the talk of the city. It's like, oh, you punched Skinny Black. That's a big deal, right? So it's kind of like beating up Drake or Jay-Z or Kendrick Lamar or something, right? So he then his song ends up on the radio. And what was interesting about this movie, and this is something I think you should think about from a financial consciousness standpoint, is that the movie ends with a feel-good moment where he basically like hears himself on the radio while he's in jail because he went to jail because he beat up Skinny Black. And when he hears his song on the radio, it's like this moment, like, I made it, like this moment of tremendous satisfaction that says, he's hit the top of the mountain. Now you live happily ever after. And I can just tell you that all of that is a bunch of crap. Like, take, and I get it. I understand why people feel that way. When I was on the faculty at Syracuse, I remember thinking to myself that if I get on national TV one time, I'll be insta famous. This is me 20 years ago. My thinking 20 years ago was if I just get on national TV once, then my whole life is going to change. And I remember that feeling. I remember uh, being on national TV. And I also remember a particular time where I was on, quite frankly, with Stephen A. Smith, and it was on ESPN. I was on there with Method Man and some other guy, and after that was done, I'm riding in this limo and I'm just talking to my dad. I'm really feeling like, wow, I've really done something. And in hindsight, I almost laugh at myself because that wasn't the pinnacle of anything. That was really just the beginning. That my life didn't change. I had to go back to work. I had to keep grinding. I had to keep building and developing things. There's no like one magical moment where suddenly your song's on the radio and now you're a rich celebrity. The process continues. The marathon continues, as Nipsey Hussle used to say. So I would encourage you to when you're talking about building a dream. I'm gonna end on this note because I do have to run. But when you talk about building a dream cannot be built on a faulty foundation. A dream cannot be built with shallow, simple-minded, one-dimensional material. You can't build a dream off of one moment or one introduction or one instance or somebody giving you one opportunity.